One of the big projects that I learned about was the interstate highway system. Eisenhower, very few people realize Eisenhower was an English major. When he was at West Point, he was specialized in English. And so when he became president, he wrote personal letters to the Congress. You get a letter from the president in his own handwriting, suitable for framing, you're going to read it. And he was convinced that we needed to build an interstate highway system so we could move our nuclear weapons from Chicago to Cedar Rapids so fast the evil Ruskies would never find them. And he had no vision that he was going to create the fast food business or the motel business or absolutely wipe out the railroads, because suddenly trucks could take blue jeans from Boston to Los Angeles cheaper than you could take them by rail. So his decision to build the interstate highway system had all of these wonderful, unexpected consequences. And of course, if the interstate highway system went through your city, it was boom time. Missed it by 5 miles, you're a ghost town. And the big cities, which had the crossroads, north, south, and east, west, like Chicago and Denver and New York and so on, they, of course, just like the railroad days, they became the boom towns. It's so interesting, like any time we do something really good, it's always based on a military objective. It was always started on that. And so with the Apollo project, we wanted to go to the moon because the evil Russians were going to get to the moon first. The most wonderful thing that happened was Sputnik for us, because we had this program that was just sort of sputtering around, and Congress has never understood science, and scientists have never understood politics. They are among the worst at lobbying for their own cause. They're always asking for exactly what they want, instead of 3 times what they want and then settling for half, and then doing what they want to do, like other companies that we know and love so well, like the pharmaceutical industry. But anyway, we decided to go to the moon based on that military objective. But yet, when we look back at the Apollo project, it created thousands of industries, new materials, and it just was absolutely wonderful thing for America. We had these national goals and this pride of going to the moon and so on. Of course, once we went and we found out that Russia wasn't even close, they had no semiconductor technology. So Russia had this tremendous rockets which could send up a basketball court, and we're just sending up a little balloon, a little tiny ping pong ball, but it had all of this electronics in it, which could take pictures and take all this data and so on. We just ran rings around the Russians and ran off and left them. And I suspect that our intelligence agencies kept that secret from Congress, that the Russians were so far behind us, because there was so much money involved with the contractors to provide stuff for the moonshot. We need to go to Mars. Maybe we won't get there in my lifetime, but maybe in the next 20, 30 years. Of course, when I ask my students, should we go to Mars, they're looking at me, are you crazy? That would cost $1 trillion. And then I say, wait a minute. Only maybe 25 lucky people will get to go to Mars. But it will employ millions of college graduates who've studied calculus and will be able to send their kids to college and get the Lexus with the CD player and have the little house on the prairie. Suddenly they're all, oh, wait a minute, we need to go to Mars, don't we? Because it's always those unintended consequences. It's always the employment that it provides. Whenever we get enough talented people with enough money to do something big, sometimes what we planned on happening never happens, but always something new, exciting, that totally... The personal computer came out of the Apollo project. It's just unbelievable how every time we have these warlike big projects, there are these unintended consequences, which are tremendous benefits for society. Well, Mars is definitely one of those that I dream about that someday we'll do, because it will have such an enormous impact. But another one that I'm excited about, which again meets with gales of raucous laughter, is to dig a tunnel between Alaska and Russia across the Bering Strait. It's above the Arctic Circle. And it's also in a seismically active area. So it'd be a tremendous engineering project. But it hooks up the continents. We're going to get in our Winnebago here in Dallas, drive to Paris. Oh, wait a minute. Russia has 11 time zones and no interstate highway system. They're going to need an interstate highway system. It would create enormous wealth for the world. Maybe the United States and Japan or the United States and Germany will have to build it for them. But when you look at Russia, 11 time zones, enormous resources, diamonds, wheat, whatever it is, gold, you name it, Russia has it. But because they don't have an interstate highway system, there's no way to deliver the goods from the point of manufacture to the customer. They need an interstate highway system. Think of the motel business alone in Russia across 11 time zones. And the McDonald's, the fast food, it would create enormous wealth. When you have a huge project, it creates enormous wealth and employment for tens of millions of people.